Looking back on this channel, I basically have never really delved into sports games at all. While I do play a ton of them off of this channel, it's hard to do a video without saying the same quote-unquote old sports games of the past are better end quote cliche that is so overused on YouTube at this point. Still, I do like to highlight games that deserve a bit more of the spotlight. Today, we have one such game with Mutant Football League 2, an early access sequel to the 2017 iteration. This aims to provide an arcade parody of the NFL and even harkens back to the old Midway NFL Blitz days. Heck, they even have Tim Kitzrow to provide commentary to really sell that old school feeling. I've played the first and enjoyed it, so I figured with a free code provided by Digital Dreams Entertainment, we can take a look and see if it's a good time or not. And while I do appreciate the free code, it will not deter me from a fair and honest review. Sounds good? Let's begin. So as soon as you start, you open up a pack of cards, and I figured this was for some ultimate team mode that they have planned, but it doesn't look like it's going to be in the cards, and yes, the pun is very much intended. Cards are used to unlock free agents and players to trade with in the season and dynasty modes. I wish it was explained a bit clearer at first, but this is what this is. Before we get into the modes, we should play a game to just get a feel of the controls and what to expect here. So my first game will be as the Baltimore Razors and the San Francisco 40 Nightmares. If you're into puns of any kind, this game is just full of them. Obviously with the team names, but also with the player names as well. And some of them are actually quite funny, especially for some of the player names. And I really do appreciate how the quarterbacks tend to have the same hairstyle as their real life counterpart or parodied counterpart. So that's a nice little touch there. And right away, if you've played the prior game, you can really tell that the graphics and presentations has really stepped up. That opening to this game, like to the Baltimore Stadium, is pretty badass, just seeing the camera pan down like that. And to be fair though, it has been 7 years since the last game, so it is expected to see an improvement in this aspect at the very least. And now for the game itself, and overall it is 7-on-7 football arcade goodness. You pick your play, lineup, and hope to be the better side of each play, whether you're playing on offense or defense. Stuff like penalties don't really have much of a factor here, outside of defensive passing interference and bribing the ref. Since this is an overall rotten to the core league, late hits are also allowed and even encouraged, with the possibility of legitimately killing another player. So it can get pretty wacky that way. It's honestly pretty cool when this happens, and that person is basically gone for the rest of the game. So if you take out a quarterback or a star running back, they're gone for the rest of the game and can really change the dynamic of a game. It's really interesting and an interesting strategy for players to take. So I mentioned the bribing the ref, and if you have this option enabled, you can run a dirty play that ranges from grabbing a shotgun and shooting at the defense, or to throwing some sort of death ball that cuts anyone from the defense trying to catch it. And it's not just offense though, because the defense also has its own set of dirty plays it can use, including bribing the ref, or another one could be just setting up like an electric field to get the opponents killed. There's a lot that you can play with, but personally I just turn these off since I find them to just be way too overpowering and always happens at the worst moment. They're fun for a game or two against another human, and I appreciate the inclusion for something different if you want to pursue this route, but personally it's not my cup of tea and I always just disable them. There's also another toggleable option, and that is with stage hazards that you can also turn off, or stadium hazards I should say. I usually keep these on because they add a bit of a challenge and make things far more unique, and these hazards can be acid vents shooting out from the ground or even some mines on the field. It makes the game pretty unpredictable, as you can tackle players into the mines or even run them into yourselves to kill multiple players at once. It's honestly pretty damn fun when this happens. So my biggest issue currently with the current iteration of the gameplay is just how easy it is for defenders to get interceptions. Defensive linemen especially seem to just pick off a ton of passes, as quarterbacks will just throw right in their vicinity. I wish that quarterbacks were more aware of defenders and can change their trajectories accordingly. So maybe if you have a quarterback who's very intelligent, can do some sort of side pass or pump fake to make a lineman mistime their jump or something similar, because at this moment interceptions way too common. And so while I do appreciate that the presentation has been overall improved from a visual standpoint, the commentary is basically unchanged at this point. Tim Kitzrow, as I mentioned before, is a legend, although I don't know why the developers thought it was a good idea to tell him to add 2 additional annoying voices to commentary. He's good enough to just do solo commentary by himself with his unique, iconic voice. So I don't know why they decided to do that. But personally, if they wanted to go the color commentator route, maybe grab someone else to do it. So a long shot for me would be like having a Tony Romo, which probably would not be possible because of contractual reasons, but there's still a ton of great options out there. You know, former player or coach would just be awesome. If healthy, Mike Ditka could be fun, or if someone is more recent, maybe someone like Steve Smith, or someone that I actually just thought of this before I started recording was Randy Moss. What about Randy Moss? He's one of my favorite players of all time. I mean, where the hell is he? You know, the potential is pretty high for commentary, so it's a shame that this feels ultimately neglected. Heck, put me at color commentary. I think I could throw in a couple lines. So outside of playing quick games, there's not too much else to do. Most of the planned modes are not available and most likely will be in due time. So for offline play, there's a season mode, which lasts 1 full season, where you can pick a team and try to win the Mayhem Bowl. For this, I chose the London Patriots and played a few games with them. So during the season, you can make trades and sign free agents if you have the right cards, but that's really about it. There is a Dynasty mode plan that is going to be far more fleshed out here than in the prior game, so I'm looking forward to that. So overall, I feel like it's still a little too early to give this one a full recommendation. I do personally enjoy the parody aspect of it and the arcadic nature of the gameplay. Graphics and presentations are also a huge step up from the prior iteration. However, content is pretty much lacking at the moment, especially for offline play. Gameplay can also use some tweaks to improve the quarterback passing and not have so many interceptions. Commentary also needs to be improved, as it's basically exactly the same as before with the same lines added in. So the potential is much higher than the previous game. And hopefully we do get the Dynasty mode soon. But right now, I would say just wait a little bit. I'm confident though in a few months we'll be in a further place and it would be worth a recommendation. But for now, put it on a wish list and hold off for a little bit. So thanks everybody for watching. Please do expect some longer reviews in the future. I have some more in-depth projects that I'm currently working on, but I figured this could be something fun, more lighthearted, and not too intense. So hopefully you enjoy something like this. If you want me to review more sports games, just let me know. And as always, thank you for watching, and this is Powerhouse signing off.